Explain like I'm 5. Why do people dislike stock buybacks, but not stock dividends? How are stock buybacks any worse than dividend payouts to investors? I get how they are logistically different, but to me, whether you give the investors cash that they use to buy more stock, or you internally increase the value of a stock by buying it back with company funds, the result is the same. Investors get richer at the cost of investment. Not saying buybacks aren't bad, but I guess I just don't understand the hate relative to dividend payments. Buybacks are often purchased with funds that could have otherwise been used to reinvest in or expand the company, or improve the wages of employees. Recently, several companies have faced criticism for cutting back wages and laying off employees due to the economy, but then announced billion-dollar stock buyback proposals. Practically, stock buyback is the better option because it leaves each shareholder the choice to cash out or not. All the associated tax and trading fee implication, etc. But dividends feel like getting your earnings, while stock buybacks feel like money going to someone else. And often, the complainers aren't even shareholders. So it's just a bunch of hot air. I don't see why either should attract even mild dislike. The company literally belongs to its shareholders. It's up to them to decide whether the board is investing adequately. I'd imagine that's because a stockholder cannot really gain any personal benefit from a stock buyback unless they sell their stock, whereas from a dividend they gain the benefit without having to divest from the company. Shareholders don't dislike buybacks, do they? Fewer shares on the market, higher price, no? Because it's a buzzword. People also don't understand the step-up method for stocks when people inherit. They just get irrationally mad that rich people exist. Not sure that qualifies as an explain like I'm 5 question. You said it yourself. They're literally the same thing. Returning cash to investors. Typically when you have no good investment opportunity left. They only have bad reputation because it's internet and people love commenting on things they don't understand. People understand that bankers and executives like buybacks, and that bankers and executives make what look like excessive salaries on the backs of ordinary workers. So without thinking too hard, the buyback smells like another tool that the finance industry uses to extract money from ordinary workers for their own benefit. You don't have to dig into the mechanics of how a buyback works. That is not the level at which ordinary people think about finance. They just see finance bros making lots of money with obscure financial wizardry and assume it's coming from them. Stock buybacks work the same as every other investment. You need to buy low and sell high. Stock buybacks are usually done indiscriminate to price, and results in overpaying for a stock. This will only benefit shareholders that sell at a high price, and causes a loss of value for everyone else. Some companies do stock buybacks the right way that are beneficial for shareholders. Aflac, for example. A good deal of companies do not. By buying back shares while also still expanding outstanding shares. By issuing more via executive compensation, for example. Stock buybacks are basically a way of saying, hey, we have extra money, but investing more money into the business won't make us more money than just buying stock to bump up the share price. S&P 500 companies are priced around pretty high expected growth, so it can reflect badly on the company's lack of faith in their own business. Nokia did a lot of stock buybacks on the way down from their year 2000 or so high. See how that worked out. Dividends are actual irrevocable cash on hand for the investor. Stock buybacks often deplete cash reserves. And if the stock then goes down, the company is in even worse shape than before. And if the stock goes up, there's a reluctance to sell to generate cash. So again, Operating cash is too low. But for a while it was seen as what all the smart finance people are doing, so a lot of companies that should not have done it, did it. Buyback or investigating in yourself. Dividends or investing in others. I see the difference. People hate both, but buyback have been in the media recently. It's hard not to hate it when a company get bailed with public money, then fires a bunch of people or cuts wages due to the economy, then posts record profits and spends it on stock buyback. Dividends or getting rent. Stock buyback is your neighbor selling their house, and hopefully the value of your house goes up. Dividends are taxable. Buybacks are unrealized gains and therefore increase the owner's wealth without tax. Then they use the stock as collateral for purchasing assets with pre-taxed earnings. 1. Buybacks make companies' share price go up arbitrarily. If the cash for the buyback came from the company's profits? Cool. If the cash came from taxpayers? Boo. 2. Buybacks help the investor class increase their net worth and avoid taxes in a way that the working class usually can't manage for themselves. Not at the same scale. Anyway, such things can only continue for so long before the guillotines come out. Dividends are basically like interest payments when you deposit money, a kind of reward for putting your money with a group for a while. Regular dividends are an indication of the long-term growth and stability of a company. Stock buybacks are generally the company has a surplus of cash and has run out of ideas on where to spend it. Well, for one, if the company buys back its stock, whoever formerly owned those shares is no longer receiving dividends in connection with holding those shares. Any increase in share value resulting from a buyback by definition wouldn't result in a benefit to whoever formerly held those shares, because they don't hold them anymore. Investors like a stable dividend that grows every year. Problem is, if you have a down year and you've committed to a high dividend, you run out of cash to distribute back. So a company can be a bit more conservative with its dividend yield. Let's say 5 instead of 8 growth year of over. And then it can commit to stock buyback plans, which are easier to start and halt if adverse conditions come up. Certain companies can be investing in projects with a minimum ROI, growing its dividend responsibly, and allocating any forecasted excess cash to buybacks. Dividends. While similar in the way they use up the company's free cash, it's attracting investors based on that promise of perpetual profit sharing of a stable company, rather than shorter-term artificial share price inflation through buybacks, which don't add inherent value to the company. They just inflate share price. A company that pays its investors stably over time through dividends builds some inherent value through its promise to do so. Buybacks inflate the stock price, causing a perverse incentive. Dividends do not have the same impacts, and in general are regular, recurring, so not considered manipulative. Stock dividends are just regular dividends, but instead of cash it's stock. Lots of people already take the dividend and reinvest it in whatever stock. Any investor hates not knowing that they should have bought a stock yesterday. The buyback increases the value, so if I had known yesterday that my stock would increase in value today due to a buyback, I would have bought more stock yesterday. Obviously, the knowledge that a stock is about to be bought back would be insider information. But you still stomp your foot when that opportunity slid by you.